Watching movies and jamming out. K-Flix 198.4 Fiction Radio.
Welcome back to K-Flix Fiction Radio. Now, this is a special episode, everyone. It was voted on by you, or at least the people that voted on Instagram. But this episode has so much meat to it, it's time we just jump right into the pool of Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem.
So much meat, Shawn. We've been researching this for a month.
A month? Oh my God.
And I still don't feel like I'm an expert on Dr. Teeth or the Muppets.
No.
But we got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Oh my God. Even pushing back the recording of this 3 full weeks, there's still too much content to digest. Honestly, it's crazy.
The Muppets universe is vast, and even within it, Dr. Teeth are all over the even having skipped basically all of the 90s.
Yeah.
There were no, or very few at least, appearances of Dr. Teeth from the time that Jim Henson died until, well into the early aughts. Because these guys just got their own show 2 years ago.
Yeah, on Disney Plus.
Which I didn't even know about when we picked this, or when you picked this. You picked this with the people on Instagram. I was not part of this.
No, you were not. I actually hid it from
left
you.
out on purpose.
Yes, yeah. I didn't want you to know it was happening.
You were like, hey man, how would you feel about covering something that requires a little bit more watching than we usually do?
Just a tiny bit more.
Just a tiny bit more. Just this franchise that's been going on for over 50 years with movies and TV shows. So many TV shows. So many just TV shows.
Now, there were a lot of TV shows that I straight missed. I legitimately didn't remember.
Yeah. Just mainline, we're talking The Muppet Show, the original. Mm-hmm. We're talking Muppets Tonight, which was the same concept in the 90s. And we're talking The Muppets, 2015, same concept again, modernized, but the variety show.
Yes.
And then there's just a billion other things that they've been involved in. There's advertisements, there's live performances. There's Muppets is like almost Disney scale. I mean, I know it's part of Disney now, but like,
yeah,
and has been for a long time, actually. So I guess that's part of it. That's part of the great expansion of the Muppets as Disney did their Disney thing.
They absolutely did do their Disney thing.
So all that said, Shawn, where do we start telling people about Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem?
Man alive. Let me tell you, Dustin. I mean, again, it is a really wild ride. And if you want a lot of Muppets history, say you want to know how Frank Oz and Jim Henson met, if you want to see behind the scenes making of how the puppeteers are crammed into couches or anything like that, there is a documentary made by Ron Howard that's on Disney Plus now about all of this stuff.
Yeah, Jim Henson Idea Man is the title of that. It's Jim Henson's life, but it's also, like you said, like some really cool BTS Muppet stuff.
Really cool. And the talking heads that they have doing the interviews, they have all of Jim's kids. Frank Oz sits down and tells these great stories. It is a beautiful documentary. If you love the Muppets and you want to know about the history of all of that stuff, cannot recommend you checking out that documentary enough. They're going to say it way better than we could summarize. So we're not going to cover any of that stuff.
That's true. We're not even going to go into the early how the Muppets came to be. It's just too much.
Right. We're going to be pretty focused on just Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem for this episode.
As the fictional artists in the Muppets, yes. Because all of the Muppets sing.
Yes.
And many times, Dr. Teeth is the backing band for a performance, or it's actually like a Mayhem song, but maybe Gonzo singing it, all kinds of stuff like that going on. But we're gonna stick to the Mayhem.
For the most part.
For the most part. I have one very particular exception to that, because there is another fictional artist I would like to talk about in the Muppets world.
I am sure that there are so many fictional artists in Muppets land that we're not going to cover today, because Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem is the biggest one, and we couldn't watch all the content if we tried.
No. I mean, Shawn, if you want to get technical, everyone is a fictional artist in the Muppets world because of the whole variety show thing.
Absolutely.
They're all stepping on stage and performing, but within the universe of the universe, this band is the band.
Yeah.
We had to limit it somehow.
Now, just to throw out something that I found to be very interesting in doing this research for the episode today.
Yes.
In the first episode of The Muppet Show, is the Phenomena song.
Oh, the very first episode.
I didn't realize that song had that kind of a shelf life. I didn't realize that it was the first episode of The Muppet Show, and it is now still insanely popular.
That's the actual first episode, not the Muppets Sex and Violence pilot.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes,
Gotcha.
this is the first episode of The Muppets that featured Phenomena. And if somehow you've never heard this, here you go.
Phenomena. Phenomena. Phenomena.
Yeah, it's very famous. It's the end credit song in the 2011 Jason Segel Muppets movie.
Yes, it is.
They do a nice fourth wall breaking performance of that with all the people who acted in the film.
They even brought the song back in the 1995 Muppets Tonight. Did you know that?
I'm not surprised that it's in there. I'll say that. I don't recall a specific performance, although I did watch Muppets Tonight when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, well of course. I mean that's the Muppets of our generation.
Yeah, I love how well that concept works over and over, by the way.
The best use of the Muppets is a variety show.
Yes. Muppet Show's great, but it's cool how they've modernized it in ways over the years too. The 2015 Muppets, for example, is more like 30 Rocky.
Oh, sure.
Handheld cam, backstage type stuff.
Right.
It just keeps working. Sorry, not to harp on the Muppets shows anymore.
I'm not done. So when Phenomena came back in 1995, Kermit goes to a psychiatrist because every time he says the word phenomena, the Phenomena Muppets come up. Sandra Bullock is the therapist, and she has a little fun with it.
Phenomena. 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 Phenomena, phenomena. Phenomena.
Man, they must have just been so good at making the guests feel so comfortable because everyone's performance is so relaxed when they would guest on any of these shows.
No matter who they were. Mm-hmm. Like it could be a person that's not really known for on-camera performing and they're still really good on The Muppet Show.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Really incredible. Like it is sort of an alternate SNL in a way.
Yes.
Like an alternate universe. And it probably stems from like Jim Henson did the Muppets on SNL. It failed horribly. And he went, fuck that. I'm going to do it myself with just Muppets.
I mean, that was a whole strange sort of situation because he wasn't even allowed to write the material for the Muppets. The SNL writers had to do it.
Yes. They had to write it, but they hated doing it at the same time.
Hated it.
It was destined to fail. So before we dive full on into Dr. Teeth, I did want to reference one other group of fictional performers that was on the Muppet Show, and that is the Country Trio.
Oh.
Which is this like bluegrass style band. It's Jim Henson, Frank Oz, and Jerry Nelson. And they are sort of it's like them as Muppets. It's their own likenesses. They just do fun little I think they were created pre-Muppet Show as well. Like they had some appearances on the Perry Como Winter Show.
Okay.
That one I came across in my research back from the days of like just everybody had a like variety act.
Yep.
Looks like they did it on Dick Cavett as well in the early 70s. Anyway, without further ado, here's a bit of Tomorrow by the Country Trio.
I started on a journey just about a year ago to a little town called Morrow in the state of Ohio. I've never been much of a traveler and I really didn't know that Morrow was the hardest place I'd ever try to go. So I went down to the station for my ticket and applied for tips regarding Morrow, not expecting to be guide. Said I, my friend, I'd like to go tomorrow and return no later than tomorrow, for I haven't time to burn.
I love the attention to detail in all of the Muppet musical performances with their instruments.
Yes.
Like when they are playing their little Muppet hands, they have a string that guides them up and down the neck of any sort of like guitar or banjo. Whenever they're strumming the right amount. It's really what makes the Muppets the Muppets. You know, they're not just puppets. Puppets are dumb, floppy things. They sort of, the mouth moves and that's it. Just I can't even do it justice without the visual, but
Oh, sure.
there's a reason these became so big.
I noticed a couple of times when Floyd would be playing the bass or Janice would be playing the guitar, and their wrists sort of bends in a way, too, of like an extra way to hit one of the notes. And I'm like, holy shit, how the hell did they get that to happen?
It's crazy, and it's all with those little sticks and strings and like sort of like marionette. I mean, Muppets, for those who don't know, Muppets is marionette and puppet portmanteaued together.
Right.
But they're not marionettes. Like when you think of marionettes, you think of like all the strings. You think of In Sync Bye 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 type thing where they're like hanging from above. But like these are all like controlled from below and fairly discreetly. Sometimes you see the little stick for the arm.
Yep.
But for the most part, you don't see how they are being given their life. And that's what makes it so cool.
The way that they hide all of that stuff, like for Dr. Teeth, he has human hands playing the keyboards or whatever. Right. But where the fuck do they come from? Like, because you can see his little tiny arms, but you never see like the forearms of the person that's playing the piano. It's crazy.
Yeah, because there's just a way that you shoot Dr. Teeth that's been established over the years. Yeah, it is wild. And all of these characters take, everyone's like credited with a puppeteer, but I think there's multiple people involved most of the time for most of these things.
So I've been tossing out the names of the Mayhem, and we haven't really introduced them yet. So I think that should be the first step that we take.
Let's do it.
Dr. Teeth is the quote unquote leader, if you will, of the band.
Correct. Yes. Although that comes into play in their new series.
It certainly does, yes. He does vocals and keyboards. He was originally voiced and puppeteered by Jim Henson from 1975 to 1990. Then it moved to John Kennedy from 91 to 2003. Then Bill Beretta from 2005 to the present. It was originally designed by Henson and Michael K. Frith and built by Don Shallon.
Nice.
But was first drawn by Bob Taylor. Rumor has it was based on the artist Dr. John. Here's his song from 1973, Right Place, Wrong Time.
I've been in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time. I done said the right thing, but it must have used the wrong line. I've been on the right trail, but I must have used the wrong call.
Love that song.
You can totally hear it, especially in the, I would say, post-Muppet Show, pre-2010s era Dr. Teeth.
Yes.
All the Muppet movies versions of Dr. Teeth have that cool funk sound.
Also the vocals, too, that like growl that he has.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, it changes over time. I would say the new music doesn't sound anything like this. And I would say the early Muppet Show music was more, and we'll get into it because I think it's fun, but more like comedy-driven little bits.
Definitely.
Real quick, Dr. John, I just wanted to say, we just talked about Dr. John last week. I know it doesn't feel like last week, but he was the voice behind the awesome cover of Season of the Witch that I loved from Blues Brothers 2000.
Right.
Must be the season of the witch. Must be the season of the witch.
And just as a fun fact that we come across in the Muppets Mayhem show, Dr. Teeth is in fact a doctor of teeth. He's a dentist.
He is a trained dentist, yes.
And his real name is Gerald Teeth Jr.
Dr. Gerald Teeth Jr. His parents come into play, which the age of these guys is weird, right? Because in the show, they do admit, like, we've been doing this for over 50 years. But also, like, I'm pretty sure, like, Floyd Pepper is like 46.
Yeah.
And Floyd Pepper was like a full-on adult when Dr. Teeth was a kid. We learned that.
Well, at least like in his 20s. Let's say he's like 25.
Yeah. Was like out of school. He was like a musician at the store that Dr. Teeth meets, and he encourages him to pursue his dream of music instead of dentistry.
I actually have a clip of this.
I love it.
Junior, what are you doing?
And then his mom interrupts the jam session.
Right.
Of course.
She's like, no, my boy is going to be a dentist.
Yeah.
This new series, yeah, I'm glad it exists because it really gave us some of the backstory of the band in the universe.
Yeah, it really did. Super cool stuff.
So I think ostensibly we're working through the members here. We're going so slow. Like we've only hit Dr. Teeth so far, right?
Yes.
But I just mentioned Floyd Pepper, who I would put in probably the other sort of leadership position in the band.
Totally.
In a Rolling Stones type scenario, I would say he's definitely the Keith Richards. Like, he's got status up there next to lead singer. And in fact, he is the lead singer a lot of times.
It's believed that Floyd Pepper is based on Jeff Baxter, formerly of Steely Dan and the Doobie Brothers.
I read that.
And he was puppeteered and voiced by Jerry Nelson from 1979 to 2003. Then he came back in 2008. From 2005 to 2006, it was John Kennedy. Matt Vogel from 2008 to present, and was originally designed by Michael K. Frith and built by Dave Goelz.
Mr. Floyd Pepper, also in his design, his outfit, he's very much based on the Sgt. Pepper costumes that the Beatles had on that album cover.
Well, so I actually saw a couple of times where Floyd Pepper is credited as Sergeant
Floyd Pepper. Yes. Technically, he is a sergeant. I don't know in what service. He is a sergeant of some kind. I mean, he's a pretty core band member. He's also Animal's handler, caretaker, owner. I don't know how it works exactly. Animal is sometimes almost full on like pet realm.
Right.
I mean, he's always shackled. I know that.
Yes,
so like
always.
If he does have the same human status as the other Muppets, that's problematic.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
So he's an animal.
Speaking of Animal, he is the drummer of the Electric Mayhem and arguably the most famous member of the band.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, he has the most non-band Muppet screen time.
Yes.
By a lot.
The original voice and puppeteer for Animal was Frank Oz in 1975 through 2000. Then again, John Kennedy from 2001 to 2003. Then we moved to Eric Jacobson from 2002 to present. But the Muppet Babies, originally from 1984 to 1985, was Howie Mandel. After that, from 86 to 91, was Dave Coulier from Full House.
Yeah, Uncle Joey.
With original concept sketches drawn by Bonnie Erickson and Jim Henson.
That covers it.
One of the interesting things about Animal was how nobody can really nail down the inspiration for the character and how many people sort of want to take credit for it.
Yeah.
The one that I kept finding most often was Keith Moon of The Who.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But then I also saw some stuff that it could have been Led Zeppelin's John Bonham. I saw some stuff that said it could be Levon Helm from the band. I saw some stuff that said Ginger Baker from Cream. I saw some stuff that said maybe Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac. I saw some stuff that said maybe it's the session drummer Mike Baird. Even Billy Joel at one point said, no, it's my drummer, Liberty DeVito, but the timelines don't make sense. So, like, that one's just clearly wrong.
Sure, yeah. The only consensus seems to be drummers be wild, man.
Yeah.
It's just a composite of, like, every degenerate drummer.
Yeah.
Who ever existed. I've seen this quote a couple times where Frank Oz said Animal boils down to 5 words.
Yes.
Sex, sleep, food, drums, and pain.
I love the pain one.
Yeah, pain. Causing it, usually.
Now, the real drummer for Animal, at least in terms of the Muppet Show, was a very renowned drummer by the name of Ronnie Verrell. And I would like to play a clip of Animal versus Buddy Rich from the Muppet Show.
Buddy Rich, one of the most famous, most referenced, most credited with inspiring people, drummers of all time.
Oh, yeah. In fact, in episode 10 of the Muppet Show, Kermit interviews Animal, and he asks him who his drummer idols are, and he lists 2 drummers, one of them being Buddy Rich, the other one being Gene Krupa.
Ah, yes. Another very famous drummer. Animal's got good taste. He's a jazz guy at heart, I guess.
Yeah, he really is. Anyway, here's the drum battle between Animal and Buddy Rich.
Is this Buddy Rich or Animal?
This is Animal right here. It was Buddy Rich to start. Now we're back on Buddy Rich. You know who that was. Now they're sort of both going at it. Anyway, this is a 3-minute drum battle. It's amazing. It has a great ending. I'm not going to spoil who wins. And I have a quote from Buddy Rich in 1980. He was doing an interview with Les Tompkins about being on The Muppet Show. Buddy Rich said, quote, "The thing that's good about it is I felt like a Muppet myself. I was like a kid playing with those guys because that's how they made me feel." I'm going to skip a little bit of the quote here. Then, of course, the battle at the end with Animal. To play opposite with Ronnie Verrell, one of my all-time favorite drummers, along with Kenny Clare, was a total gas to me. That 1 week will go down as one of the most positive weeks in my career. I loved it, and I thank them.
That's what we were talking about. Everybody, just had the best time being on The Muppet Show.
And I mentioned that Ginger Baker was a possible inspiration for Animal. It turns out in 1964, Ronnie Verrell and Ginger Baker were in the same movie taking part in a 4-minute drum battle with a load of other drummers. Bobby Graham, Alan Greenlee, John Kearns, Bobby Richards, Andy White, Ronnie Stevenson, and Arthur Mullard. The movie is called Gonks to Beat from 1964. Here is a clip of this insane 4.5-minute drum battle. They are all playing at the same time, mind you.
Oh, shit.
And this is a crazy setup. It's like 3 drummers in a line all facing each other with somebody at the head of the table, and then another drummer way off to the side, and they're just pounding at each other. It's crazy.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Why can't we do just stuff like that anymore?
Yeah, no kidding.
The last mainstream drum battle I saw was the Will Ferrell, Chad Smith from the Chili Peppers.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, yeah.
Yeah, which is funny joke because Will Ferrell's not a drummer at all. More drum battles, please.
Yes.
Mainstream media.
Moving on to the guitarist of the Mayhem, we have Janice.
Janice, yeah.
Who was originally puppeteered and voiced in 1975 and 1976 by Fran Brill. Also, John Lovelady in 1975 did some Janice work. Then it went to Aaron Oskar in 1976. Richard Hunt did a brief stint in 1975, then 77 to 1992. On to Matt Vogel in 2000, then Kevin Clash in 2001. Brian Henson, son of Jim Henson, for 2002 to 2003.
Yeah.
On to Tyler Bunch from 2005 to 2008. Then to David Rudman from 2008 to present.
Fran Brill, I just want to say, the original puppeteer for Janice. I think she left because maybe she was doing more on Sesame Street. I think she's pretty well known for her Sesame Street work.
Oh, great. I can only imagine what it was like doing double duty on that, you know?
Fucking Henson did it and it killed him.
At least he was only a performer on Sesame Street.
That's true, yeah. Again, we're not here to talk about Muppets history. Go watch the documentary. But the thing that clicked in my brain watching that documentary was the fact that so many of these people were going back and forth between the Muppet stuff and Sesame Street and whatever else they had going on. Specifically, Jim Henson and Frank Oz had major characters in both. Bert and Ernie in Sesame Street world.
Yeah.
OG characters.
Back to Janice. Her name is a shout out to Janis Joplin, and her look resembles Mary Travers from Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Yeah. Okay, I buy that. And I would say Janice and Floyd have a kind of almost Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham thing going on.
Totally.
50 ways to leave your lover. Just slip out the back, Jack. Make a new plan, Stan. No need to be coy.
There's a clip of the two of them doing a cover of Paul Simon's song, 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover.
You don't need to discuss much. Just drop off the key, leave, and get yourself free.
Kind of another one of those, like how we talked about, like sometimes it's the full band, sometimes it's not. This one was Janice and Floyd with Animal on drums and Rizzo, the rat, playing some cymbals there, but none of the other band members.
Nice. Next up, we have Zoot on the saxophone.
Zoot.
who still has its original puppeteer and voice.
We've had all these long lists.
Yeah, Zoot's just got the one, baby. It's Dave Goelz.
Dave Goelz has been doing Zoot since his inception.
In 1975.
That is crazy.
Yep.
I read a little bit from Dave Goelz on his portrayal of Zoot. Because Zoot is this character who's he's kind of reserved. He doesn't say a lot. When he does, it's, short sentences. And this apparently boils down to Dave Goelz coming in, not feeling comfortable doing what he was doing yet. And he just kept giving his lines away to the other performers as much as he could because he didn't want to worry about it.
That's pretty funny.
And it just ended up creating the character of Zoot as this sort of quiet guy. So it's interesting. It's like it wasn't so much like they envisioned the character like this. It was just the reality of Dave made the character like this. Another thing I read another thing I heard from Dave Goelz, he guested on a podcast called Tough Pigs, which is a whole Muppet fan show podcast.
Okay.
He was interviewed on there and he described how he draws. He calls it sheet music, but it's not sheet music. He draws these little squiggly lines for horn parts.
Okay.
So he knows when to lift his sax into the air like he's really blowing in it versus, when it's a softer note. So he has this shorthand for how he gets those performances to work.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's some fun insight.
It's a really long interview. There's plenty of cool stuff. He actually goes through all of his characters or his primary characters one by one.
So Zoot was designed by Bonnie Erickson yet again, and his look is based on Gato Barbieri, who is a famous saxophonist and won a Grammy for doing the Last Tango in Paris score. Mm-hmm. And Gato did a pretty rad saxophone cover of the Carlos Santana Europa song.
Oh, yeah?
So check this out. And if you want to hear what the guitar sounds like coming from Carlos Santana's glorious fingers,
sounds like Santana.
You bet it does.
Nice. Good find on the Gato Barbieri there.
Staying in the horn section, next up we have Lips, who plays the trumpet, and originally came into the mix in 1980 and was puppeteered and voiced by Steve Whitmire until 2016, and now it has been Peter Linz since 2017.
That's correct. Yeah, Lips was added later, like you said, in the 80s. He was not an original member of the Electric Mayhem. I think I read he showed up on the Muppets show first, just in the sort of Muppet band, which includes parts of the Electric Mayhem, but is different.
Yeah, because that also features Trumpet Girl, who's not a part of the Mayhem.
Right. He was kind of, I think the story is he was created to give Steve Whitmire more of a role on the show and in the band, because he was like a puppeteer that was well liked.
Nice.
Yeah, they wanted to give him more. Steve Whitmire also notably took on the role of Kermit after Henson's death.
Oh, okay.
So he did that character and several others through the 90s and 2000s and up through I think 2016. There was some kind of behind the scenes to do. I don't know exactly what went down, and I don't know, and I don't have enough stake in Muppet world to take a side on this, but I know people have taken sides on the with or not Steve Whitmire thing, because basically the Henson family and Disney came together and sort of told him he'd be retiring in 2016.
Gotcha.
I don't know what the full story is, but that is kind of what went down.
Interesting stuff. I did not come across that. Mm-hmm. So those are the main members of the Electric Mayhem. That's what we're going to focus on today.
That's the group as they appear these days, for sure.
Yes.
Wow, Shawn. We are quite a ways into this episode, and we have just finished naming the members of the band.
Yeah, isn't that great? How are you feeling, listeners? Are you fatigued yet?
I hope not. There's a lot to go.
Would you like some music? Because I would like to play you some.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. How about what I believe to be the first Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem performance from 1975's The Muppet Show Sex and Violence with the song Love Ya to Death.
I'm gonna light some dynamite.
dynamite and blow open your heart. I'm gonna light some dynamite and blast a tunnel to your love. Woo! Oh yeah!
They did this song in an episode of The Muppet Show as well, episode 10, and they featured explosions going off as part of the bit.
Which I think was a reference back to that, like, that Sex and Violence pilot was sort of Jim Henson trying to show that, like, it wasn't just for kids or something.
Yes.
There was some element of, like, oh, you need sex and violence for, to get something put on TV. Okay, here you go.
Right.
And the intro for that show was the instrumental version of this song.
Yeah.
Was that an original?
Yes, to my knowledge, that was also an original song.
Gotcha. Nice. I feel like I started on this a little bit earlier, but like the Muppet Show, the original 1976 Muppet Show era of Dr. Teeth was kind of bounced between two things, either doing just a cover of a popular or, known at least song, like the Paul Simon one that I played earlier, or doing some goofier thing. That Love You to Death kind of rides the middle. It's more like what the Dr. Teeth we get in the movies. It's more of
That's
just
true.
like a funk jam song. It's more Dr. John.
Yeah, totally.
Because a lot of the stuff that they do in the show, which I love, is stuff like this, Barnyard Boogie.
Well, the barnyard was jumping, everybody having to fling.
Even old MacDonald had to do a little corny swing.
Wow, said the dog in the circus stop.
Meow. Said the cat, now please don't stop. Plop, plop, plop. Said the little white hen, let's boogie in the barnyard.
Take it.
But that's the kind of stuff that I feel like the Muppets were so good at. Like, they've got those random chicken characters
Oh, yeah.
that are just, unlike the other Muppets, they are just chickens. And they just go bark, 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 and just finding like what sound something makes that's funny or cute in a song. So I love the goofy stuff like that. I wanted to ask you, Shawn, if this one that I came across made it to your ears, and if it did, get your thoughts on it, because based on something you said you really liked in Blues Brothers, I think this might be your jam.
Alrighty.
Hey, Mr. Bassman, you got that certain something. Hey, Mr. Bassman, you set that music thumping. To you it's easy. When you go 1, 2, 3, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. You mean ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Yeah, hey, Mr.
It's very Rubber Biscuit.
It's very Rubber Biscuit. Yes. That was Scooter on vocals with Floyd featured up front with him doing the ba-ba-ba-bas.
Nice.
Because he is the Mr. Bassman of the band. Oh, the song's called Mr. Bassman.
Oh, okay. Is that an original?
Negative. Mr. Bassman appears to be by Johnny Cymbal, going back to 1963.
Mr. Bassman, you got that certain something. Mr. Bassman, you set that music thumping. To you it's easy. When you go 1, 2, 3, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. You mean ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba? Yeah.
Fun song.
Pretty faithful cover that the Muppets did, but it's the kind of thing that works really well for them.
I was trying to figure out who did the music for the Muppet Show, and it turns out it's an orchestra, the Jack Parnell Orchestra.
Yeah.
And Jack Parnell was the conductor for the whole run of the original Muppet Show. And unfortunately, I couldn't find out all of the members of the Jack Parnell Orchestra, but I found out a couple of them. Of course, Ronnie Varel on drums for Animal.
Yeah.
The piano for Rolf the Dog was provided by Derek T. Scott, so it's possible that he also did piano and keys work for Dr. Teeth.
Yeah.
Zoot had 2 saxophone players as the sax for him. The alto sax was provided by Frank Reddy, and the baritone sax was provided by Josh Whelan. The trumpet player for Lips was Tommy McQuater, and the trumpet player for Gonzo, though he's not a member of the Mayhem, it is information I have, was provided by Kenny Baker.
Wow. That is a lot of info that you were able to find.
Yeah.
It's too bad we can't find out everybody for sure on like every track, but it was just sort of the way things were done then. I think this was the Jack Parnell Orchestra just existed in London, which is where they shot the Muppet Show.
Right.
The original
Yes.
Muppet Show. And yeah, it was just a rotating cast of like session musicians.
Very happy to get any names. And in terms of playing things from the Muppet Show, I do want to play a song from episode 6 of The Muppets. It is an original song from Stan Freberg and Rudy Raskin. It's called Money, and it is a solo Dr. Teeth song. This was used on talk shows before The Muppet Show, such as The Tonight Show and The Mike Douglas Show. It was not performed by Dr. Teeth because Dr. Teeth didn't exist then, but this is the Dr. Teeth version from The Muppet Show, episode 6.
Don't want no loving, don't want no kissing, don't want no gal to call me honey. Don't want my name in the Hall of Fame, just want a big fat pile of money. Give me that almighty dollar for that lettuce, hear me holler. Give me buckets full of ducats, let me walk around and waller in Mazuma, El Dinero, wanna be a millionaire. Give me money, 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 money.
I'll give you a little more on that one. Before even those talk show appearances you talked about, there was a show called Sam and Friends, which was like a puppet show.
Oh, yes.
Henson's first thing. And for that, they actually used what I'm not sure if it's the original version of this song, the original recording, but they used a recording of this song as sung by Mel Blanc, Bugs Bunny himself.
Ammunition, that's a stuff for which I'm wishing. Fill my closets with deposits. I'm a demon at addition. Give me shekels, give me pesos. Let me see their smiling faces. Money, 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 money.
Stan Freberg, the guy who wrote that song, I think was a bit of a mentor to Jim Henson.
Oh.
Not only did he write the music, but like he was a puppeteer himself. In Jim Henson's early days, I think Freberg was a known quantity in puppeteering world and helped him get into that world of getting the stuff on television.
I mean, you need all the help you can get, so.
Just another one I wanted to hit on from The Muppet Show. There was an episode where, I guess, classically Floyd Pepper is he's a bit harder to get along with. He's a bit of a perfectionist. He thinks he knows what the good music is, doesn't like to be told what to do, etc. So anyway, there's an episode of The Muppet Show where he decides he doesn't like the Muppet Show opening, the theme music.
Yeah.
And he starts a walkout. He goes on strike, leads all the band members off the stage. Notably, Zoot says, the frog's been good to us, has a little reservation about this. But anyway, they do their thing, they do their walkout, and he comes up with a new theme song entitled, well, he calls it Fugue for Frog. You just got Kermit in the foreground sort of reacting poorly to this. And this is a bit of a jab at some Frank Zappa experimental music from the early 60s. This particular recording, it's just called The Experimental Music of Frank Zappa. This is from the Mount St. Mary's College Department of Music, performed in 1963. That is what I would call challenging to listen to.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
I just thought it was funny that they put some of that in there. We're going to play one more fun one because this motif is going to come up later. But you can never go wrong with a silly song about food.
Cheesecake, gobble, gobble, cheesecake, gobble, gobble, cheesecake. Butter, cheesecake, gobble, gobble, cheesecake, gobble, gobble, cheesecake. Oh, my girl, she's crazy over cheesecake all the time. So I bring her cheesecake and she treats me mighty fine. Cheesecake.
Jim Henson knew it. Weird Al knew it. Write a song about food. People will love it.
How the hell did the Cheesecake Factory never license that song?
Oh, they missed the boat.
Cheesecake Factory, you could still do it.
You could still do it. I mean, and the Muppets are fairly ad friendly. They'll sell it to you, I'm sure.
Yeah, it'll just cost you.
Just cost you that Disney money. Yeah, that's all I got for the original Muppets Show version of this band.
Well, I think that means we're going to move on to the Muppet movie from 1979.
Ooh, the big Hollywood picture.
Yeah.
I had so much fun watching this again the other night.
Oh, good.
It had been long enough that I didn't really remember the plot or anything. So it was a good journey. It's just so heartwarming.
And the first song that we hear in the Muppet movie from 1979 is Rainbow Connection. I'm going to play this because I think it counts for the show today. Kermit plays this song in a swamp, and a Hollywood agent rows up to him in a boat, gives him a card, and says, hey, call me. Uh-huh. That fits in terms of a fake musical act as far as I'm concerned. So
sure.
Here's the Rainbow Connection, written by Kenneth Asher and Paul Williams.
So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow streamers and me.
The banjo of the song just makes it feel a totally different way than if it were a traditional acoustic guitar.
Definitely. And it 100% befitting of a frog who's just playing for himself in the middle of the swamp.
Yeah, just plucking along, singing his song.
Those two songwriters you mentioned were nominated for an Oscar for that song.
Hot damn.
In addition to that, Paul Williams has a few hits under his belt. He wrote this song, an old-fashioned love song, performed by Three Dog Night.
Just an old-fashioned love song, one I'm sure they wrote for you and me. Just an old-fashioned love song, coming down in three-part harmony, to weave our dreams upon and listen.
Man, I haven't heard any Three Dog Night in a long time.
The only Three Dog Night songs I know were written by other people. I don't know if they just didn't write their own music or what. The most famous one is the Mama Told Me Not to Come. That's a Randy Newman song.
Oh, okay.
Paul Williams, also the pen behind We've Only Just Begun by the Carpenters.
Isn't this in Happy Gilmore?
Is it?
Yeah, it's the song that Chubb sings.
I didn't even recognize it. That's hilarious. Yeah, so that guy's written a few things. He also did one of the songs on the Barbra Streisand Star Is Born.
Oh.
He wrote a duet that she and Chris Christopherson sing together.
Nice. I'm sure we're going to be covering that at a certain point in time, ladies and gentlemen, so get ready for whenever that happens.
Yeah.
On the Paul Williams train, he and Kenneth Asher wrote the Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem song from this movie. Can you picture that as well, Dustin?
Uh-huh.
Everybody's lover, everybody's brother. I want to be a lifetime friend. Crazy as a rocket, nothing in my pocket. I keep it at the rainbow's end. I never think of money, I think of milk and honey. Grinning like a Cheshire cat. I focus on the pleasure, something I can treasure. Can you picture that? Can you picture that?
And of course, they redid this song for the Muppets Mayhem show in 2023.
Everybody's lover, everybody's brother. I want to be your lifetime friend. Crazy as a rocket, there's nothing in my pocket. I keep it at the rainbow's end. I never think of money, I think of milk and honey. Grinning like a Cheshire cat. I focus on the pleasure, something I can treasure. Can you picture that? Can you picture that?
This is probably, I would say, the most famous Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem original song.
Yep, I would agree.
When I heard it this time, I could not think of a different song. I'm going to play a clip again of the Can You Picture That to prime us.
Everybody's lover, everybody's brother. I want to be a lifetime friend. Crazy as a rocket, nothing in my pocket. I keep it in the
Just listen to the cadence that Dr. Teeth is singing with there.
That's pretty funny.
I don't know if that's them taking from Aerosmith specifically. I did look it up. Walk This Way came out in 75. So it did exist in the world before the Dr. Teeth song, but it could just be like an old, blues thing to sing like that too.
Fun fact about Walk This Way, Dustin. Do you know how that song came to be? Do you know the inspiration for that song?
No, I don't.
Steven Tyler and Joe Perry late night went to go see Young Frankenstein, and the scene where Igor tells Frankenstein to walk this way lodged itself into Steven's brain. And as they went back to the studio that night, it dawned on him like the song for Walk This Way. So
really?
It's inspired by Young Frankenstein.
I had no idea. That's great.
Yeah.
What a life that song had.
Aerosmith rant over.
Nice. Well, I just want to hit on a couple other, this is not comprehensive, but a couple other Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem appearances in movies. The first one is a little clip of this song, Nightlife, from The Great Muppet Caper.
Give me my good friends and play me my music. Yeah, give me my nightlife. Talk me that guitar and roll me that boogie. Yeah, give me my nightlife.
Just want to play a little bit of that one because that's, again, I think we're a little more, I don't know, his singing was a little less singy in this song, but I do think the style is a little more back to the Dr. John world.
When we get into most of the movies, Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem are very briefly featured. Like even in Muppet Treasure Island, they're just sort of there to casually play music in the background. They're not really featured players in most of the movies.
Well, like I would say most Muppet movies are like a journey of some kind, and they are encountered somewhere on the journey.
Yes.
But they don't hang out with the rest of the Muppets in those. They just kind of exist on their own and show up to do one plot point or another.
Yes.
Along that vein, I'm just going to hit You Can't Take No for an Answer from the Muppets Take Manhattan.
You can't take no for an answer. You can't take no for an answer. You can't take no for an answer. No.
I mean, now we're in kind of a smoother, almost Doobie Brothers kind of sensibility.
Sure, I can see that.
So yeah, that's from Muppets Take Manhattan. And then kind of what happened is the band went quiet. I think we mentioned this earlier. After Jim Henson passed in 1990, and then Richard Hunt, who was Janice, passed in 92, they kind of went on the shelf. I mean, I think they showed up in things, but more visually.
Yeah, they didn't talk. They were still represented, but they didn't talk.
Yeah, because nobody wanted to open that can of worms, take on those roles.
As we move forward in time here, I would like to play just a quick sample of the Mayhem from the 2015 Muppets show. Here is their cover of the Paul Simon hit Kodachrome.
Holy shit, that's the one I had.
I love the song Kodachrome.
It's a great song.
And if you've never heard the Paul Simon version, I'm not playing it. Go listen to it yourself because it's so fucking good.
Yeah, go listen to it. This is truly the new era for the band because this is the same time they started releasing these songs on their own on YouTube as little music videos. This is also where we get the Bohemian Rhapsody cover.
Right.
Which I'm not even going to play that. If you don't know Bohemian Rhapsody, go look that one up and look up the Muppet one while you're there.
There's a chance you don't know Kodachrome. There's no way you don't know Bohemian Rhapsody.
But yeah, it's sort of I feel like they got new life around this time.
And it sounds a lot more along the lines of the music that they're pumping out in the Muppets Mayhem show from 2023 as well.
Yeah, more modern sensibility. We're losing touch with the Dr. John blues funk stuff and just they're becoming more of a straight up rock band.
And, there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like that's probably what would happen with the natural progression of the band anyway.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I don't mind either. They've always done covers. They've done covers since the Muppet Show.
Right.
And they're usually just pretty straightforward, faithful covers. And, we've talked in the past, if you're going to do a cover, make it transformative. Do something new with it, or else why would I listen to the cover? This is a case where that does not apply. Do it straightforward and be Muppets. That's all they need to do.
Yeah, you don't need to do anything crazy if you're a Muppet.
Because the visual gags are so good. If there's any concern I have about this episode, Shawn, it's just that the Muppets are such a visual gag that we cannot give that to the people in this.
Yeah.
But all this stuff is just made so much better by seeing them and the silly things they do during the performances.
It certainly makes it a lot better.
Hey, Shawn. We got a call. The light's going off.
Color me not surprised. There's got to be loads of Muppets fans out there. So Gladstone, don't let us down with this caller. You're live on K-Flix Fiction Radio. From where are you calling and what's your name?
Shawn? Shawn, is that you? Shawn Kohne?
Yeah?
Slurping. What is going on here?
What happened, Daddy?
No, nothing. Hold on. Just a second, Maple. Hold on. Okay. Hey, Shawn. Hi.
Who's this?
It's Clayton. Do you have call ID? Shawn, it's Clayton.
Oh, Clayton Smith. Oh my God, everybody, it's Clayton Smith, co-host of Is That a Ghost and author of many books like the Apocalypticon series and Anomaly Flats.
Shawn, why are you talking? Stop. I need help.
What's going on, buddy?
Okay, I'm definitely scared.
Okay, don't be scared. I'm a little scared too. Okay, sorry, Maple's here. I hope that's okay. Listen, I was trying to call 911. That's not it. And Shawn, I'm a Muppet.
Yeah.
What?
You're a what?
I am a Muppet, Shawn. A Muppet. I have felt hands. I have a stick on my other hand. I'm a Muppet.
How did you become a Muppet, Clayton?
I don't know, Shawn. I was taking my second nap of the day, which is usually a super normal nap. And I woke up from second nap, which is normally, again, a very normal thing to do. And this time I wake up and I am a Muppet.
Did you run around the house with your arms flailing around like a Muppet?
There's no other way to run, Shawn. Of course I ran around the house with my arms flailing like a Muppet. I don't think you're listening to me.
Do you have some like newfound musical ability as a Muppet? I feel like most Muppets have some sort of musical talent.
Okay, cool. This is great. I call looking for help to not be a Muppet anymore, and you want to know if I have a newfound musical ability, Shawn. Of course I have a newfound musical ability, and yeah, I guess now's about the time where I break into song as a Muppet. All right, you guys ready? We're going to do this together, right?
Oh, I don't know about together, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
All right, you know the words. Go on, you know the words. Everyone knows the words. Let's go. Earlier this morning when I woke up today, I thought, hey, everything is gonna be okay. And now it seems that I just have to say that it's gone bad. I used to be a human, just an ordinary guy, normal like you and just like alive. Now I'm like an extra in the Fraggle Rock 5, because it's gone bad. And now I just got a belt about the hand I've been dealt, because my body's made of felt. It's gone pretty bad, you guys.
Dude, I don't know why.
Am I really sick? Am I gonna kick the bucket? Fate came at me fast and I just couldn't duck it. Feeling so helpless, I should just say flurp it, because it's gone bad.
I don't know why you want to not be a Muppet. This is great, buddy.
I mean, there's some cool things about it. You know what's not cool? Being 2 feet tall and having someone's hand up your booty.
Yeah, I can see how that would not be pleasant.
Let me jump in here. Shawn, I think we've had calls like this before, sort of. Not Muppets specifically, but what was the fix? What did we come up with last time?
Clayton, have you tried sage? Have you saged your house?
No, Shawn. You know, I can't reach the sage drawer anymore, so I have not tried sage. Good suggestion, I guess. Let me see if I have a ladder for a small child hanging out around here somewhere.
Okay, fair point.
Sorry, it's very frustrating.
There was another thing. A seance. You could hold a seance.
Oh.
You know, get the Muppet spirit out or...
Sure. No, I have not held a seance. Think it's, gosh, great suggestions here. I have no priests. I don't have an old one. I don't have a young one. So I don't think that's going to work.
Okay. Here we go. Small children should be able to reach board games. Have you perhaps tried the Ouija board? Have you used the Ouija board?
Shawn, we don't have a Ouija board. We're Catholic.
Okay. Yep. Copy that.
Oh, I remember. Have you tried rating this podcast 5 stars on every platform?
Oh, that's right. That worked for Lard.
Yeah, that was what did it.
Look, I'm desperate. I'm not that desperate.
Cool. Yeah, fair.
I don't know. This isn't helping at all. And I don't even know why I became a Muppet.
I wish for you to become a Muppet.
I'm sorry. Maple, what did you just say?
I wish for you to become a Muppet.
You wished for me to become a Muppet?
Yes.
Why would you do that?
Because I thought that would be silly.
Okay. We've got a situation here. I gotta go.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, he hung up. All right. Great.
Oh, well.
Thanks for calling in, Clayton. I hope you get that situation straightened out. That's pretty funny.
Wishes are real.
Yeah. Be careful out there, kids. Let's get back to the action. We're going to be talking about a lot of original songs coming up here for the Muppets Mayhem show. And I think we go ahead and jump right into it now. I want to let you know that the soundtrack was pretty damn successful for this. It peaked at number 10 on the soundtrack charts and went all the way to number 1 on the U.S. Kids charts.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Pretty cool stuff. And we get so much background and information about the characters and the history of the band in this show that was not prior knowledge, such as they had a different name beforehand.
They did, yeah.
Before they were called Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem, this was also before they got signed to Waxtown Records, and their name was changed from the Good Times, Happy Trails, Super Smiles Fun Band, which is really reminiscent to Arrested Development, if you ask me.
Tobias's group, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, could even be a reference to that, because now we're into Muppets history that's been written post Arrested Development.
Yeah, it totally could be a reference to that, and I wouldn't be super surprised.
No, I mean, good comedians recognize good comedy.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Muppets Mayhem was, I don't know, what did you think? I enjoyed it more and more as it went on. There are definitely aspects of the show that are too modern, too childlike, I don't know, too something for my taste that don't quite feel Muppety enough. But like on the whole, I think they really slammed a ton of jokes in there. And I mean, outside of just all the cool history of Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem that we get, I think it did pretty good as a show. I enjoyed my watch through and more as it went on.
There are certain aspects of the show that were a little bit too childish for me, but at the same time, they had jokes that were for adults too. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a funny ride. It had a lot of good cover songs and a lot of good original songs, which we're about to get into.
They picked a lot of really good covers for it.
The thing that I'm curious about, because on episode 1 of the show, there was a performer in the show, and I kept thinking, I know your face, but I don't know it now. I knew it like 20 years ago. I know your kid face.
Talking smart guy.
Yes, Taj Mowry. We can't get away from the Mowry family.
No, apparently. We're locked in now.
I had to go to IMDb and look after the first episode, and I was like, holy shit, it's the smart guy Taj Mowry. Did you?
Same experience.
Okay.
Yes, I had the same exact experience. I was like, that guy looks familiar. I don't know why. I'd not even like, I'd be lying if I said I knew him as a kid or anything. I just knew he looked familiar and looked it up and was like, oh, yeah, it's the little brother of the Mowry twins, one of whom we just talked about on Mistletones.
I thought that was pretty great.
Yeah, I thought he did a great job.
Yeah, he was super wholesome, and like his acting style in the show really fits Muppets.
Yeah.
Like, there are actors that don't work with Muppets, and there are actors that do work with Muppets, and he very much works well with Muppets.
And there's a couple ways to work with Muppets. Some actors work well with Muppets, like you've talked about, the internet has talked about, like Michael Caine works well with Muppets because he's just Michael Caine, and he's treating them as people.
Yes, and this is a thing on the internet. I did not come up with this, you did not come up with this, but the fact that Tim Curry works so well in Muppet Treasure Island because he thinks he is a Muppet.
Yeah, he goes the other way. And now, ever since you pointed that out to me, I've just noticed other actors, like a lot of times when you see people acting with Muppets, you'll start seeing like their mouths open wider, their eyes open bigger whenever they're surprised. They start having more Muppet-like facial expressions.
Yeah.
Because it just makes sense to go big in that world.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you go too small in that world, you're going to get lost in the sauce.
So here's a little bit of the opening theme from the Muppets Mayhem show.
We're living wild and free. That's how it's meant to be. We're gonna do it for the band. We're gonna do it for the mayhem. Even though it's been a long road, baby, you're the melody to my song. You and I, we were made for this moment. We're gonna rock.
The title of that song is called Rock On, and all of the instrumentation is done by one person. That person's name is Packy Ludholm, and they played the drums, bass, electric guitar, piano, and organ for the song.
Oh, wow.
It was written by Dan Pinella and Hannah Friedman, and Hannah worked with Packy Ludholm on his 6-song EP called Track Sabbath Volume 1.
Nice.
Sorry. Packy did not play all of the instrumentations. I forgot. He did not play the horns. Those were provided by Dan Ralick, and the saxophone was provided by Hannah Friedman as well.
Nice. Yes. I think we're fully into the new sound now. They no longer sound anything like the Dr. John inspired music of the past.
Right.
This is kind of a whole new thing, kind of straightforward rock. It does work for me because it's like you said earlier, like it's kind of the music an older band might make.
Right.
We get into some more like just sweet tunes in this. Not so much that one, but we'll get there.
I do think that is sort of like the natural progression of things, is to sort of take it a little bit lighter as you get older.
Yeah, it's a little lighter. It's a little, the instrumentation is a little more straightforward, which makes sense. These guys are, they can play anything. So why not play something easy, smooth?
Right.
Something that doesn't hurt, probably, at this point in their lives.
The next song on the soundtrack is called Gotta Be, and it is written by Ed Mitchell and Steve Morrell.
Gotta be what I gotta be. Ain't no time for nothing else. Woo! Gotta be what I gotta be. Yeah. Makes no sense to fool myself. My brother, my friends, I made it clear just who I am. Now I see that I gotta be what I gotta be.
That song's still pretty jazzy, I'd say.
That one is pretty jazzy. I was just going to say that. I love that this one's like a blues bop.
Yeah.
Lyrically, like a lot of these songs, it doesn't excite me much at all because it's just affirmational sort of Disney lyrics.
Fair.
But the tune is great.
Oh, yeah. Now, this one, I made the mistake last time and forgot some of the horn section, but this song, all of the instruments are provided by Steve Morrell, one of the co-writers of the song.
Nice, yes.
And Ed Mitchell, fun facts, he has worked on all kinds of kids' music for Sesame Street, Ren and Stimpy, That's So Raven, other Muppets content, and Disney compilations. But the thing that I would like to play, because I think it's really, really cool, is Ed produced a cover of Stevie Wonder's You Are the Sunshine of My Life for Jack White and the Electric Mayhem.
Yeah, nice.
You must have known that I was lonely, 'cause you came to my rescue. Yes, you did. And I know that this must be heaven. How could so much love be inside of you?
Jack White's voice in that song is really, really cool.
Sounds a bit different from normal.
Yeah. And those like woos that he's putting in there are like really fun.
Yeah, he's in tap with his inner Stevie Wonder.
That's a really, really good cover. I had never heard that before. When I found that, I was like, wow, this really grooves, man.
I came across that. I didn't even think to put it in the same bucket as the Mayhem show stuff.
I just came across it because I was like, oh, well, let me Google these names and see what else they've done.
We're going to skip over, I think, most of the covers that they do for this show.
I'm going to play one.
You're going to play one. But for the most part, we're going to pass over those and you can check them out on your own time. They're great covers. It's just more of, what they've been doing for a long, long time. So there's not a lot of revelation for us in those.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So next up, as far as original songs from Muppets Mayhem, we've got The Sound of Us.
There's just something about music. You gotta try it on the side.
Ooh, like a brand new electric, you'll find the perfect vibe.
And once we get it moving, no need to make a fuss. Just lay that funky rhythm down. That's the sound of us.
I love the amount of times that Dr. Teeth does Macho Man style. Oh, yeah. Like, I really love that.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Man, that was another bluesy one. Like, I don't know what I was talking about earlier, actually. They haven't drifted all that far. I guess the song's nearer the end. We'll see. Maybe I'm just wrong altogether. I feel like it goes in a direction.
Maybe I'm just playing particular sections of it that weren't featured in the show, and maybe that's why you're thinking that.
That could be.
This song was written by Gabriel Mann and Jeannie Laurie. Now, the interesting thing about one of the writers for this song, Gabriel Mann, did you happen to look into any of the writers for this song, Dustin?
No, I didn't.
Great. So they wrote the theme song to Modern Family.
Oh, really? Pretty cool.
Pretty neat.
Dipping back into one of those worlds of super talented session musician types and composer types who just crank out stuff like this for visual media.
I want to go ahead and just fire off the cover from this soundtrack that I want to talk about.
Sure.
And I want to primarily play it because if my dad were still alive and I didn't play this, he would be fucking pissed. So...
Oh, so I know which one it is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
'Cause I knew your dad.
The biggest Kiss fan to ever walk the face of the planet. So here's their cover of Rock and Roll All Night.
You show us everything you got. Well, baby, baby, that's quite a lot. You drive us wild, we'll drive you crazy. You keep on shouting, you keep on shouting.
I love the animal scream.
The animal
right
scream,
there.
yeah.
It's so funny.
During the drum break, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's so good.
What a fun song.
Oh my God.
It's
good.
one of those songs where you can't feel down if you play it. It just makes you want to move and groove, and we were both bopping our heads to that.
Yeah, we were.
I think it was a great pick for a cover. It's also the source of, I think you said it was your favorite joke in the whole show, right?
No. Lily Singh's character thinks that the lyrics are rock and roll all night and part of every day, not party every day. And I hate that joke so much.
And
I can't explain why, but I hate it. And it's a runner through the whole show.
Yeah. Inexplicably, they really decide to keep using that joke. They use it in a previously on, in like the last or second to last episode, and for no reason. It doesn't go anywhere.
It drove me crazy.
Like, I thought, like, I couldn't see how, but I was like, okay, this is building to something, but it really wasn't.
It's my biggest complaint of the show, that specific joke. So, look, if it's that small of a complaint, you made a pretty good television show.
Sure, yeah. It's up there with the like fan club armies.
Oh, yes.
I thought that was kind of cringy. Wasn't a big fan of that, like the Gaga monsters and the Beehive,
right,
and all that stuff. It's like a really lazy take on the Warriors thing, which everyone's done the Warriors parody at this point too.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of over.
Well, they even did the line.
Yeah, come out and play. They did the come out and play. I don't know if they had the bottles on the fingers, but they did the come out and play. But it's like, first of all, like everybody's done this. We've literally done a Warriors parody thing.
Yes, we have.
It didn't work for me, the fan club battle.
I'll agree with that. It wasn't as annoying as the part of everyday lyrics. So Rock and Roll All Night was written by Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons of Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem version of the song, all of the instrumentation was provided by Steve Morell. And Steve has worked on quite a few other Muppets properties, such as arranging A Green and Red Christmas album from 2006.
Oh, okay.
And also arranged some of the songs from the 2011 Muppets movie, as well as Muppets Most Wanted in 2014.
Nice. Next up, we have a song that I think this one is more what I was talking about earlier, where we've left the jazz and blues behind. This next song is called On Our Way.
Taking all, we're leaving today, where nothing could ever stand in our way. No! When we're one big family, living our dreams with the fun and the friends that we meet along the way.
This song lyrically is quite similar to a few of the other songs on the soundtrack of just like, we're in this together, we're a group, let's get through the adversity.
General
Like
uplifting tone. Yeah.
But honestly, it sort of works on me. Like,
Okay.
the build of the song mixed with that chorus just hits in a way that the rest of the song doesn't, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah. This is the most generic one we've played so far, to my ears. I get what you're saying, and it probably worked better for me in the story, in the context of what was going on screen.
Right.
But as a song to listen to, I'm now like, give me the old stuff. Give me that funk and blues and all that.
Or even the other jazzy songs that we've played from this soundtrack, not even necessally the older songs.
I guess that's what I mean by old stuff, the old style. Yes.
Right. Okay, there we go. This song was written by Nicholas C. Rowe. Now, I want to change gears just a little tiny bit and play sort of little snippets from the show itself.
Yeah.
Specifically, the ad jingles that Floyd Pepper wrote during the run of the show.
Yes.
It starts off by him writing a spiteful song about his love for soup that goes like this.
Soup, soup-de-doop, how I love my soup. Soup don't make me frown, but you guys let me down. You're a hurtful group, so I stick with my soup, soup-de-doop, my soup.
I told you cheesecake wouldn't be our last food song.
No, it certainly wouldn't be. No. A couple of episodes later, that song becomes an ad jingle for soup.
Skip ad?
No, skip ad. That's the best part. Right? Soup de doop. It's not bad. Ta-da!
It's not bad.
It's so this goes back to the show style of like it just being so silly. The soup de doop. Like it's not a word. It's just like a sound that they pick to rhyme is so silly, and
it's catchier than it should be, though.
It's so fucking catchy. Like of anything that we've covered, soup de doop has stuck in my head more than anything.
Oh, you're a soup de doop guy.
Yeah, I'm a soup de doop guy. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's great. I think it's. I don't know if they wrote it first or thought of the jingle subplot first, but it's used really well for that.
It's used so well. When that came back around, I was genuinely surprised by it. So naturally, Floyd just becomes a jingle writer, and that leads us to him doing a jingle for Utz pretzels.
Salted, unsalted, butter or wheat. A bag of Utz pretzels is groovy to eat.
Groovy to eat?
Really love Kristen Shaw in the assistant role.
Yes.
And the way she says Utz for Utz pretzels every time.
Finally, he does a jingle for Bennigan's.
Bennigan's went out of business in 2008, but Bennigan's is back again. It was worth the wait.
I didn't look it up. Is Bennigan's back?
I didn't look it up. I didn't know.
I think it's just fully still. I don't think I've ever been to a Bennigan's.
No, I never got to go. I'm only familiar with it really because of South Park.
Oh, yeah. Wikipedia says is, not was.
Oh, so it is back.
Yeah, in 2008. Yeah, it's not like, oh, they're back. I think they mostly went out of business and a few stayed open. There are 21 brick and mortar Bennigan's locations.
All right.
In the U.S.
Running the Blockbuster style until they're all gone.
I guess so. Well, hey, maybe the Muppets helped him out a little bit. Who knows?
Probably did.
All right, next up, we've got the song We Are One.
Everybody wants to breathe. Everybody wants to believe. There's more to this cover. Yeah. We are one. Oh, we are one. Oh, we are one. Yes, we are one.
Dustin, did this song strike any sort of nostalgia chord in your brain?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on in there. For sure. There's something in general about the song's melody that seems familiar.
Okay.
I don't know if it is. There are a few places you could be going with this based on who is on this track. But I will say, and this is an honest take, not having, like I was aware of this, but without it in my head, just listening to it now, I'm like, there's something Beatlesy about this song. There's something Beatles feeling, and not the melody. Not like I was like, what is it?
Okay.
And it is the unique way in which the drums move it along.
Sure.
Is there a reason for that?
Well, there is. Ringo Starr is the drummer on this track.
Yeah. I just glanced over and saw that, but like in this moment before that, I had put that out of my mind, and I was like, it just sounds like a Beatles song somehow.
Yeah. Pretty crazy that Ringo is on this track.
I guess somebody knows somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I'll get to that.
Oh, and you have info. Nice.
Now, let's talk about the rest of the people that helped make the song We Are One. Primarily, the writer of the song, Linda Perry.
Mm-hmm.
If the name Linda Perry doesn't ring a bell for you, I'm sure that this little song by 4 Non-Blondes called What's Up will. That's Linda Perry. Kids.
Linda Perry has also, in later years, become quite the songwriter for other artists.
Oh, totally. Dude, when I worked on The Voice, Linda Perry came to set and it like shut everything fucking down. It was a huge deal. Like she pulled up in this crazy old convertible car. Like everybody went outside and was just like, we got to see Linda's car. It was awesome.
She is the writer behind Beautiful by Christina Aguilera, behind What Are You Waiting For by Gwen Stefani, and behind Get the Party Started by Pink.
Yeah.
Also, just all kinds of other artists, Adele, Alicia Keys, Courtney Love, are on her list.
So many songs. Huge hit maker, Linda Perry. She also played the B3 organ on this song.
Oh, nice.
The bass was provided by Bill Moeller, who has worked with so many fucking people, Dustin. But in true Shawn fashion, I'm going to focus on the fact that he produced a Dennis Haskins style mashup for Limp Bizkit.
Oh, no way.
Yes, this is Home Sweet Home mashed up with Bittersweet Symphony from 2005.
I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Home sweet home. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. It's a bittersweet
What? How have I never heard this?
Isn't that crazy?
That the mashup is from 05? Is that what you said?
Yeah. It's from their Limp Bizkit Greatest Hits album. It's like one of the 2 songs that was new for that.
Weird. I mean, they're kind of doing the same thing as like their Faith cover, where it's like the song, but so different.
It reminds me of Behind Blue Eyes cover more than that.
Yeah. Or that too. Yeah. I guess Limp Bizkit has a history of this sort of covers. But that's weird. Bittersweet Symphony wasn't that old at that point.
No,
it was only a few years prior. That's great.
And as I said, Ringo is playing the drums on this track.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2024, Ringo put out an EP called Crooked Boy.
Okay.
And all 4 of the songs are written by Linda Perry.
Oh, look at that.
And Bill Moeller plays bass on this song called Adeline.
The quiet interaction coming off the truth. The strength we give each other, no matter what we do. Life is good, life is kind. Take a breath.
This sounds like one of those Happy Muppet songs.
It does sound like a Happy Muppet song, yeah. I have to envision, even though that this came out in 2024 and Muppets Mayhem came out in 2023, that's how Ringo ended up on this because of the Linda Perry connection.
It's easier to believe, that they knew each other before then.
Sure. I want to go ahead and just play another quick little snippet from the show. The first song that the Mayhem goes in to record is with a producer by the name of Zed.
Yeah.
Who I didn't know was a real human. I thought that was a fake thing. So
did I, yes.
He's a real producer. And he brings in an artist by the name of Sophia Carson in to guest on this song with the Mayhem, but they just give the song to Sophia and Zed, and it comes out like this. It's called Makin' Mayhem.
Making mayhem. They wanted a hit song, and so I came in. Make no mistake, this song's about the mayhem. Electric mayhem. We're making mayhem.
The Electric Mayhem version of that song was just a lot of samples that Zed had taken from them inside of the recording booth and sort of compiled it to make a song. And then Sophia came in and re-recorded all of the lyric samples that he recorded.
The whole joke there being like he's essentially replacing them all anytime they play. Like I think Muppet
Animal hits a drum pad
one time, and then he's like, "Okay, got it. That's great.
Yeah,
that's all I needed."
And then Animal goes into like an existential crisis because he thinks that they don't need him anymore.
Now, is this the same? I can't remember. Is this the same episode, or is it one before the one where they go through all the different styles that they're trying out? I think that's the following episode where we get Kesha.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I think it's the following episode. We cycle through them sort of trying to find their modern sound because they're set at this point in the show on doing something new with the Mayhem. So they bring in the rapper Designer. To do a mumble rap track, which of course Lips is the front man for. It works great. Perfect use of Lips.
Oh, yeah. So the final song I'd like to tackle on this episode is Believe in Us, which is written by Bill Prokovo, Brian Mazzaferri, and Packy Ludholm.
Remember all we can do. Believe in me. And I promise I'll believe in you. Then no matter where we go, at least we'll have we two. Believe in us. And I promise I will keep that trust. If we stick together, we can weather all that comes.
That song has like it opens with that like I would call it chip choppy guitar, honestly.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would call it chip choppy guitar if I'm understanding chip choppy correctly. But that like where it just like I just want to sing 8675309 over it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, sure, okay.
This song in particular feels kind of 80s-y. Like it's again
It does.
We're 0% of the like soul of the original stuff. We're in that realm again. It's just like a straight up pop song. But yeah, it's this one in particular feels like Jenny, I Got Your Number, or a little bit like a Jesse's Girl type sound. That opening guitar.
Sure. I mean, I do like that song. Again, super positive lyrics of, just like we're a band, we need to believe in us, and then we'll get to the end goal.
Sure.
And again, this song sort of works on me. Could be considered cheesy, but it does land for me.
Nice. Then it does what they intended for the narrative of the show.
Yeah, for sure. The interesting thing about the two writers, Bill Prokovo and Brian Mazzaferri, so we have not mentioned that the three creators of Muppets Mayhem are Bill Beretta, Jeff Yorks, and Adam Goldberg.
Oh, okay.
Adam Goldberg, the creator of The Goldbergs.
Oh.
So, Bill Prokovo and Brian Mazzaferri are members of the band I Fight Dragons, who wrote the theme song for The Goldbergs.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
Nice. That's a song I've never heard. I've never seen a single episode of The Goldbergs.
Oh, really?
That's true, but I know you have.
Not all of it, but I've seen some of it, yes.
So there's some Sandler-verse, as we've mentioned on this show, even.
Yeah, and I've watched some pre-Sandler-verse as well.
Oh, nice. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you in a box.
I don't only watch things for Sandler content, okay? So now that we're done with all of the music here, Dustin, you know what's coming your way. Would you listen to Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem or the name change that comes in Muppets Mayhem of just the Electric Mayhem being the title of the band now?
That's right,
If they were real, would you listen to them?
They are now a rocktocracy, as they say.
Yeah.
They are basically are real. You know,
They pretty much are, yeah.
they're pretty much real. They do so much in the world. Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any surprises here. I've made my feelings pretty known throughout the episode. I lean toward what they did in the past more.
Of course.
You know, and again, I think they pulled that sound off a few times on the new show. I think some of the other sweeter, saccharine stuff I could take or leave. It works for the narrative, and it, you know, I respect that it worked on, like you said multiple times, it worked on you, so I guess it works.
Yeah.
Just less my cup of tea, but all the other stuff that we dug into and stuff that I'd never heard before, even from like the Muppet Show, I think is great.
Oh yeah,
absolutely great. I mean, you were bang on when you said at the top, like Muppet Show. It was just creme de la creme.
It's the peak.
It's the peak, and it's, you know, a lot of properties have crashed way sooner and way harder than the Muppets ever has. You know, I would say Muppets has always maintained some level of quality. You know, people say like Muppets in Space, 1999 is probably the low point. But they've maintained so well throughout the years.
They swung back up.
Yeah, and became bigger than ever. Yeah.
You know, this show, Muppets Mayhem, was a lot of fun. If you haven't seen the show and you liked any of the stuff that we played here, please go watch it, because I genuinely don't know many people that have seen it or even know that it exists. So check that show out.
It's pretty crazy because it is a ton of fun, and it's a quick watch. No reason to not check that one out.
No, none at all.
And it's super fun because they did a thing that, well, I assume it's done. I assume it was a one-off. Maybe it's not, but like, I love these days when it's a one-off. I love when something can just be good and exist and be done, and I don't have to wait for another season, and I don't have to expect that the next season's gonna suck or whatever. It's just done.
Well, I honestly, I don't even know what they would do for the season 2 of this, you know? Like, you gave me everything that I would want or need.
That hasn't stopped people from making new seasons.
That's
of shit
so
before.
Fucking true. Well, dear listeners, if you had a good time today with Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem, please give us a rating or review on whatever platform you're currently listening to this show on, or if it happens to be YouTube, give us a like and subscribe and comment what your favorite song was.
Yep, and holler at us at fictionradiopod.com and at fictionradiopod@gmail.com.
See you next week, everyone.
Watching movies and jamming out. Fiction Radio.